People have really loved this series. I don't know if you've got much feedback. Have you talked to many people?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I don't really know. Maybe it's challenging, and it's especially those that are maybe been in church for a while. This is a great refresher. But my turn.
Oh yeah.
To ask you questions.
Let's do it.
So I'm really excited. I want to try to get the hardest questions I can come up with. So you talked about relationships. You talked about this idea of how important relationships are and to taking your faith deeper. But talk to the person that says, but John, I'm too busy. My schedule's too busy.
Schedule's too busy. Well, I think I would say to that person, it's all about priorities. You know, where are your priorities? And if this is something that you really want to see developed in your faith grow, if it's not in your priorities, then that's something you've got to figure out. But if faith growing and maturing as a believer is a priority for you, and I think it should be, I'm a pastor, so I think it should be, then there's some things that you probably need to cut back on and go, hey, I think this is valuable, not just for me, but we talked about it, and you know this, like, it's important for the people around you. If you're a parent, and this is going to be huge for your kids, you making your relationship with God a priority is going to affect their life as well. So I think that's, for me, the best thing I can tell a busy person. Hey, if this is a priority for you, then you've got to cut some things out, kind of figure out what's at the top and make those, line them up accordingly. I don't know.
Man, that's a good point. That you're the one. Sometimes we're dictated by our schedules, but it should be the other way around. I mean, you're the one that made yourself too busy.
Absolutely.
You know? So, okay. So here's another question, and it's for, maybe there's a lot of us who have relationships, but they're not the kind of relationships you were talking about. You were talking about the idea of accountability, encouraging people to grow. I mean, these are some really great characteristics in a relationship. But maybe if someone's sitting around looking at all their friends and they don't really have anyone that's doing these things, how do you take relationships that you already have, how do you take them deeper?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. I think I can only look at my own life and, take you for instance. Our relationship might have stayed at the same level, but I think there's something that happens when you're intentional about deciding, I want this relationship to be more than just surface level, and you're someone who's growing in your faith and I want to grow in my faith. What if we took this to the next level? And that's where not only you have to be intentional, but you have to give permission to the other person, I think. And that's something we just don't do. We're not intentional. We think it's just going to happen, and it's never just going to happen. You got to prepare for it and be intentional. But then the other side of things, you have to give the other person permission to speak into your life. And so if I have a friend and I'm super close with them and they're going deep, how awkward is it for that friend if they see something in my life to say, hey, you need to grow in this area, or I want to challenge you here. If we've never talked about it, I've never given them permission and said, hey, I want you to speak into my life, but how much better am I going to receive it if I go to that person and I say, hey, I would love for you, I trust you, I would love for you to speak into my life. If there's things that you see in my character, in the way I'm treating people, in the behind the scenes, I want that to happen. And so I think giving someone permission, then when they actually step up to the plate and do it, it allows you to receive it a whole lot better. And so I don't know. I know that for you, if you speak into my life, I know that I've allowed given you permission to do that, and so I'm going to take it better. Not that you can't do it, but me giving you permission changes the game for my heart and my area.
Boy, that's a wonderful point, and that's really maybe the first step. If someone's thinking about taking a relationship better, deeper, is this idea of like intentionality.
Absolutely.
Having the conversation before we go deeper in the relationship, because you can't really go there unless you say, hey, this is where I'm wanting the relationship to go. That's
not easy to do. No. It's not easy, but I think part of growing isn't always easy. And so you've got to kind of do some of the hard things and the awkward things and the uncomfortable things in order to get where you want to get to. And that's,
And I think for some people, they say, well, it doesn't come naturally to me. Well,
Yeah.
anything that's worth anything is never going to really come naturally.
No.
It's the more you train and the more you work towards that, it becomes natural.
Absolutely.
So that's a good point.
Yeah.
So this was a great message. I know our small group after this, we went a lot deeper, and I appreciate it because
cool.
it kind of laid the groundwork for us going a little bit deeper. And so
That's awesome.
it's pretty
It
cool.
was fun. Thanks for letting me do it.